Guys, I may be very off-center. I'm not sure if I'm really completely in frame. It's 4:05 in the morning, and I just watched one of my favorite movies ever, by far. Easily, by far. I hate horror movies. Let me just say that. I despise horror movies. I don't see what's the point of being stressed out. I don't understand the appeal of being afraid. This little girl doesn't get it either. She has no idea. What's the appeal? Mwah. She doesn't get it. And neither do I. It just seems like a waste of time. Mwah. Anyways. I just watched one of the best movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And it ended in by far the dumbest way I'd ever seen in any movie in my entire life. On one hand, this movie is 100% perfection. It's like a Notch's golden apple. Are you that old to know what that means? It's fucking great. It is the best of the best. I'm gonna kill that cat in 5 seconds. I'm gonna kill that cat. Give me a second. It's fucking great. I don't even know the name of the movie. I literally just watched it, and I'm a tiny bit drunk. So, take this with a grain of salt. However, let me give you a little rundown of what the movie's like. If you've never seen this movie before, I never even heard of it. Not even once. And I didn't even watch the first movie. I jumped in at the second movie, okay? Essentially what this movie is that there's a serial killer. And he puts a Craigslist ad up for this really quirky, weird, goth girlfriend type. She is very bizarre. She's just a weird character. And she loves other weird characters. So she sees this Craigslist ad for, hey, I want to make a documentary about myself. I'll pay you about $1,000. My cat just locked herself in my room. I'm going to close the door really quick. And I'm not going to edit this out. Go. I just locked that little fuck in my room. She's stuck. Okay. So, this guy puts up a Craigslist ad. Goes, hey, $1,000 for anyone who's willing to make a documentary of me. And this fucking weirdo girl shows up. And right off the bat, this serial killer goes, hey, just so you know, I've killed 39 people. And here's a video if you don't believe me. He's a furry, by the way. And this entire movie follows this girl videotaping this guy who's directly telling her that he's a serial killer. And this girl is mega brained. She's just going with the flow. She's like, how interesting. Anyways, so why don't you tell me about your childhood? Why don't you let me give you a massage on the back? And this guy, this serial killer, is like a little kid. He's throwing tantrums. He's acting like a fucking goofball. He's like jumping around and running in the desert or like right next to this river and running around the water, acting like a fucking weirdo. And this woman is just rolling with the punches. I've never felt this way with a villain since maybe Handsome Jack. Now, for those of you who don't know who Handsome Jack is, he's the villain in Borderlands 2. And why I bring him up is because he's the number one villain you think about when you think about someone you love to hate. When you think about someone who is just such an egregious, stupid, annoying piece of shit that it is just perfect. they are like so captivating. You watch them throw these tantrums and show off these stupid things which no one should be proud of, and act in these such like childish ways while also having all the cards on their table. They have all the cards and they're acting like unpredictable little tantrum throwing children. This shit is so captivating. The only comparison I can make is with Handsome Jack, one of the most intriguing villains, period. You look up any villain tier list, Handsome Jack is always on there. Top 10, easily. Top 3, fuck it. This movie is following one of the most interesting documentarians. One of the most, like, maybe conniving, maybe just super dumb documentarians. Because usually in horror movies, you're just like, why are you doing this? You are such an idiot. Just leave. In this movie, you're like, what is this woman's motive? What is she doing? What does she want to get out of this encounter? And meanwhile, this guy, you're wondering the exact same thing. But not only that, he is completely unpredictable. He is telling this woman the complete and utter truth the entire movie. While at the same time, you're sitting there like, but is he? What is he doing? What is the point of any of this? I don't want to get into too much spoilers. But I'm about to tell you the end of the movie, so I'm 100% lying to you. I'm about to tell you the exact end of the movie, and holy shit, it is the dumbest ending I'd ever seen in any movie of my entire life. I can't even come up with a comparison for it because it is so fucking brain dead. So this guy is psychotic, okay? And he's really bored of killing people. He's killed 39 people. This 40th one needs to be really special, all right? And at the end of the movie, he's like, you know what? I know how I'm going to kill you. I know how I want this to end. So he gets a knife and he stabs himself in the stomach about 5 or 6 times. He's just going, shh. And he aims the camera at himself. He is pouring blood. It looks like he's like a fucking Gatorade dispenser. He is just spewing blood everywhere. And, you know, logically, the woman sees this and goes, huh, you just stabbed yourself? Interesting. And keep in mind, he stabbed himself because he wanted to do a Romeo and Juliet type thing. He was going to stab himself, and then she was going to stab herself. And they were both going to kill each other and bury each other in a grave with each other, okay? I'm laughing because I'm remembering what just happened next. So this guy stabs himself like 5 or 6 times. And this girl fucking hightails it. She runs like Sonic the Hedgehog. She is out of there. And this guy just stabbed himself in like the tummy like 5 times. So he's obviously a little winded, okay? He can't keep up. And so he's in the middle of the woods, like filming around. It's completely pitch black. And at this point in the movie, I'm sitting there like, this is cinema. This is good. This is good. I'm sitting there like, this captures so well the feeling of being alone. This guy's about to die. And the last thing he wanted, this like child, he's essentially a child, all right? The last thing he wanted was to die with this girl who he actually felt like he had a connection with. And he's looking around the woods and it's completely pitch black. There's nothing there. He's calling for her name and there's nothing. There's no response. And like I said, this guy is the type of villain that you love to hate. I was like distraught. I was like, no, please don't kill this guy. Please don't kill this guy. Please don't kill this guy. So what happens next is that this woman, who could have easily just ran off into the distance for like 5 miles, or just not engaged with this dude who was stabbed in the belly about 5 times, is now dying on the floor. She comes back for no reason, sprinting at full speed, and starts trying to stab this guy. The guy immediately parries, grabs a knife, and just stabs the shit out of her. Just kills her. Just kills her. You see the guy bring the woman behind a tree, stabs the fuck out of her like 80 times. Dead. Next scene, you see him dragging her body from wherever the fuck they were all the way back to the grave he dug back in the beginning. So he walked probably a good, 200 feet with like 5 holes in his stomach. He walks all the way back, gets back to the hole, and he drags himself out of the hole. He throws her body in the hole, drags himself out of the hole. I'm spoiling this movie so good. Even with this being said, you have to watch this movie, okay? You have to watch this movie. Please. Please, for the love of all things holy, watch this movie. It's on Netflix. It is so fucking good. It was made in 2017, all right? Anyways, he puts her body in the grave. He starts walking away. He starts walking away from the grave. I'm like, this is really stupid. He should not have been able to do that. And he slowly walks up to the camera and he goes, well, guys, it doesn't feel like I'm going to die today. And he still has like 8 holes in his stomach. He's like, it feels like I'm not going to die today. We were witnessing a Marvel movie because both of those characters were Deadpool. They were superheroes. What this woman did is that she got out of the hole, starts slowly like pulling herself out of the hole. She has 1,000 holes all the way up and down her body. She is dead. She's dead. She has 1,000 holes, like spewing blood everywhere. She drags herself out of the hole with a shovel and bashes him in the back of the head. Now, if you understand the human anatomy even a little bit, even a tiny bit, you probably think to yourself, so the woman's been stabbed about 80 times. The man's been stabbed about 5 or 6 and then got a shovel to the back of the head. You see blood splatter onto the camera after he's hit in the back of the head. You think to yourself, well, they both must have died at that point. Like a Marvel movie, there's a bit of an after credits scene. It's not after the credits, it's right before the credits. But I mean, it is just so out of left field. It may as well have been an after credits scene. You see someone recording her. The woman, the documentarian. You see someone recording her from super far away and spying on her. She's walking around and she's perfectly fine. She's like A-okay, like strutting, minding her own business. She's living her normal life. She survived. After being stabbed 80 times, she survived. But not just that. The guy videotaping is the guy who was stabbed about 5 or 6 times, ran a mile in the forest, fell to the ground, bleeding out, dragged a woman all the way back to her grave with still open stab wounds, and then got a shovel to the back of the head. You saw his brains splatter forward onto the camera. He's the one recording the entire thing. He's still alive. Now, on one hand, that is the dumbest, stupid bullshit I've ever seen, probably in my entire life. And it's probably the dumbest, stupid bullshit I think I'll ever seen. Ever? I will ever see ever. There's no way I will ever see any stupid bullshit more stupid and bullshit than what I just saw in that movie at the end. It is the most stupid bullshit I think I've ever seen or will ever see, is what I'm trying to say. It is so unbelievably, for this movie, which is so realistic, for this movie, which is so like grounded, it is just brain dead. This ending is brain dead, okay? But you have no idea. You cannot fathom I am so excited for the third movie. You can't comprehend until you've seen this movie how excited I am for the third movie. You have no fucking clue. If they don't make a third movie, this will be the greatest disappointment I've ever had with any media ever. And that is including Borderlands 3. If you know anything about the Borderlands series, I know I've brought it up twice, Borderlands 3 is despicable. I will be marginally more depressed if this movie doesn't get made than Borderlands 3 existing as it is. If you don't know anything about Borderlands and you know nothing about this movie, just understand that that is a very significant statement. That holds a lot of weight. Very significant. It's almost 4:30 in the morning. I just have to say, if you haven't seen this movie and you've already had the entire thing spoiled for you by me, you have to watch it. Spoilers don't do anything. What I mean is, this character, this main character, is so intriguing. I'm going to be honest. Maybe you won't like the movie as much as me. Maybe the movie just really stuck out to me. But I have to say, this guy and the way he talks and just the things he does, I cannot help but feel like is the exact way I would talk if I was a serial killer. And I mean that in the most, like, this is just fun. I don't know. It's just, I watched it with my friends and they were saying about the same thing. They were like, dude, that sounds just like you. And I have to say, I want you to be the judge. If you haven't seen the movie, you have to watch it. Please, for the love of all things holy, I will pay you. Please, I will give you $1,000 billion trillion and one if you watch this movie. It is so fucking good. It is so good. And we need a third one. I will do anything for a third one. The directing. Here's the thing. A lot of these low budget horror movies have the most shitty acting ever. The acting just sucks dick. Everything about the acting sucks. But the way they filmed it, even if the acting was bad, and I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying it was bad at all. Even if the acting was bad, you have no way of telling. Because the way it was filmed was sort of like Cloverfield. There's just someone holding a camera. And both of these characters are, supposed to be very awkward, weird, socially inept creeps, essentially. And so let's say these actors are bad actors. Who knows? I don't know if they're bad actors, or I don't know if they're the best actors. I'm just going to jump on a limb and say they're probably the best actors I've ever seen in my entire life. But let's say hypothetically they're the worst actors ever made. I have no way of knowing. Because the way this is filmed and who these characters are, it just works. If these actors were bad, that works perfectly with these characters because they're supposed to be socially inept weirdos. Bad actors seem like socially inept weirdos, don't they? Yeah. I'm a stickler for directing. I'm a stickler for acting. I'm a stickler for story. The directing 10 out of 10. The story, don't even get me fucking started. The acting, you might not know a lot about Borderlands, but Handsome Jack, I hold him to very high esteem. And I really mean that. I hold him to very high esteem. If this is where Jesus Christ is, I hold Handsome Jack about right here. I'm atheist. Okay, so Jesus Christ, Handsome Jack. I shouldn't have even made that comparison. Anyways, I hold Handsome Jack to very high esteem. And me making the comparison that the main bad guy, the main villain of this movie is even slightly relatable to Handsome Jack, I really mean it. That holds a lot of weight. I just watched the movie and I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, guys. You either watch the movie or you don't. But you're going to have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about unless you watch the movie. And if you watch the movie, you can tell me, hey, you're a stupid piece of shit. If you don't watch the movie, you can't say shit. You have no idea what I'm talking about. And if you've already seen this movie and you're watching this review now, I hope you agree. Because I personally was having a blast the entire time. And that's all I can say. I cannot wait for the third movie. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I need to watch the first movie. And hopefully if I do, and I decide to do a review on it, I am much more drunk. Because I feel like it might be wearing off a little bit right now. I feel like it might be wearing off. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. And I hope that you found some enjoyment out of this. If not, so be it. Please watch this movie. I need more people to share this with.